Hey, thanks for tuning in because I got something to say. Welcome to Talk That Shit Radio, one of the most uncut, controversial podcasts that's Rush Limbaugh. And no need for the next because you done chose the best. I am your host, Mr. Talk That Shit, and that's exactly what we gonna do. Here on this Mental Health Mondays, we gonna talk that good shit, man. We gonna talk that inspirational shit. We gonna talk that motivational shit. We gonna talk about how to help yourself and help things in your life and help you navigate through the things in your life. You dig what I'm saying? So on today's episode of Mental Health Mondays, we're going to discuss self-love and how to love oneself. And it's a few things that we need to really take in mind when we're talking about self-love. We're going to start with about no self-criticism and don't compare ourselves. So no self-criticism is we don't want to talk bad about ourselves. We don't want to put ourselves down. We don't want to talk negative about ourselves because if we say things so much, we start to believe them ourselves. If we talk about how we can't do this and can't do that, we start to truly believe that we can't do it. And we can truly do anything, and I mean anything we put our mind to. So we shouldn't have any type of limits. But when we start self-criticizing ourselves, we're opening up the doors for others to criticize us also, for others to talk down on us, talk bad about us, to look down on us and think that they're better than us. Because, hey, we do it to ourselves, so why do we expect anybody else to treat us any differently than we treat ourselves? You know what I'm saying? So another thing we have to really take in consideration is taking care of our body. The old saying is health is wealth. We have to take care of ourselves. That's how we become wealthy in body and in mind, not just financially. If we stay healthy, yes, it's going to help you financially because, you ain't got to pay as much for insurance, doctor visits, medication, and things of that nature. But we want to take care of our body with maybe daily exercise, if that's what you want to do. Take care of our body by not putting toxins into our body. All these drugs and these chemical made things. Even alcohol, is a toxin that we put into our body. And a lot of us are guilty of that, whether it be alcohol, whether it be nicotine, whether it be marijuana. All these type of toxins that goes into our body affects the way that we think and the way that we act. So if we have purity within our body, we will also have purity within our mind, and we can be able to function on a much higher level than we normally would if we didn't have all these toxins in our body. That's causing us to move slowly or think slower or not react quick enough and do the things that we normally need to do and stay on our responsibility. So, we have to take care of ourselves as a whole on the inside and the outside. Another thing that helps us to love ourselves is conquering our fears. We all have fears. We all face fears. Somebody's fears may be on a bigger level than others, but we all have them, no matter what they are. But the thing about it is, we can't always be afraid. We have to face our fears head on and find out what those fears are about. We have to learn to process those fears so we can navigate through them and find out, are they really as big as we make them out to be? Or is it just something, I never tried this, but I'm afraid of it because it's new, or afraid because it's different. And a lot of people's biggest fear is change. You cannot be afraid to change, because if you're afraid to change, you're afraid to be successful. You're afraid to progress in life. You are afraid to do anything new that may be beneficial to you. But you'll never know, because your fear is always going to get in the way of everything you do in life. So, they say face your fears. If you're afraid of skydiving, you're afraid of heights, do something involving height if you really want to face your fears, because some fears are surface fears. But when we dig into them, we'll be like, hey, that's not that bad. It's like kids. Kids don't want to eat certain vegetables. Ew, those are nasty. How can you say they're nasty if you never tried them? We give surface opinions on things, and those surface opinions is which causes our artificial fears. Our surface fears, because that's all they are. People are afraid of rodents, bugs, mice, whatever. Afraid of things that can't do any harm to you. Now, I can understand people being afraid of bees, because, they'll sting your ass and you can die. But what is a roach going to do to you? What is a mouse going to do to you? What is any other creature that is just crawling around on the ground, minding their own damn business, just being annoying, going to harm you? So that's a fear that people have to get through also and face. Moving on, we have to also learn how to forgive ourselves. And what I mean by forgiving ourselves, we have to understand that we are human and that we make mistakes. And we have to learn to understand that we made a mistake, and that's okay, because we're not perfect. And we have to learn to forgive ourselves for those mistakes. There's no losses in life. There's just lessons. Okay? So you have to learn from that mistake and turn it into a lesson. Don't be so hard on yourself because you messed up. You might have got a bad grade on a test. You might have did something wrong with the recipe that you was making in the kitchen. You might have turned down the wrong street or something, anything. That was just a mistake. You're human, and understand you are entitled to that. And no one can tell you any different, because your mistake is no different than their mistake, because a mistake is a mistake. You understand? So we have to learn and make it a habit to not down ourselves, not to beat ourselves, and not become our own enemy. We also have to surround ourselves with positive people and positive things and positive thinking. The way you think is who you are. Let me repeat that. The way you think is the way you are. Mindset over everything. If you think grimy, you're a grimy individual. If you think about money and motivation and success, then that's who you are. You're a money motivated individual. If you always thinking about, man, I gotta get high, man, I gotta get drunk, man, I gotta go party, then that's who you are. You a club hopping, partying, dope head. That's who you are. If you are thinking negative thoughts about people, certain people that you may not should be thinking about in those kind of ways, that's who you are. So it starts with our mind. It starts with our thinking process. And we have to be very cautious about how we think. We have to be cautious about the people that we surround ourselves with. We have to stay away from toxicity and toxic people. You men, you have to let these toxic women be toxic if they are not willing to work things out on a common non-toxic level. Women, if you have a man that is very toxic and you are just not happy going through the things that you're going through, you have to let him go. Because no matter if it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your boss, your teacher, all these people can cause stress in your life. All these people can cause depression in your life. A toxic situation is a guaranteed toxic ending. There's nothing positive about being toxic or being a part of toxicity. It doesn't end well. So we have to really care about ourselves and not let others ruin our peace. It's all about peace and it's all about comfort in life. That's all it's about. Once you find peace, you will learn to be comfortable in life. It's not about having this foreign car, this big piece of jewelry, this new purse, this new dress, these red bottoms. It's not about that. It's about being happy with yourself, being comfortable, and being peaceful. So I want all you guys to just let all that soak in and do your best each day to love yourself. Put yourself first. And it is really hard for people to do that is always giving love and putting others first. But understand this. I cannot give you what I don't have for myself. Once you learn to love yourself, you can love others better. It's Mr. Talk That Shit. Mondays, Mental Health Mondays, Talk That Shit Radio. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about the show. And I will catch you next week on another Mental Health Mondays.